Excellent. Well, welcome everybody to the webinar for Remine Live, one of the first integrated live stream solutions built right into your MLS. And thank you everybody for joining us today. For those of you that are joining us from the Miami MLS, congratulations. Your MLS recently just went with our Remine Pro package, which includes our latest live streaming features completely in your package that you now have access to as a member benefit. A couple housekeeping items for today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jonathan Spinetto. I'm one of the co-founders and chief operating officer here at Remine. So you have me here to do your demo today. And if you also notice here, you can type in questions in the Q&A box. So feel free to send those questions on over. Or also you can use the chat window. If for some reason we don't get to your question today, rest assured we will get to your question after the session and we'll email you. This session is being recorded, so you will have that follow-up recording as well. And then at the same time, anything that we reference, whether it be guides or anything like that, we'll also make sure to put those into the comments as well. So with that, we'll get started. So a little bit of background, this feature launched April 15th, available inside Remine Pro. And what is it? So this is a live streaming feature that's fully integrated into the Remine platform. You can create open house links and then broadcast directly from the Remine application right inside your phone, right? And so in addition to that, you don't have to have any special equipment other than your phone to be able to go in and to be able to set this up. So it's a very powerful solution in the sense that it's completely integrated right into your MLS system, and you don't have to do anything more than already just log in into the Remine app and go from there. And it's very simple and it's very easy to set up. And one of the things that we're able to do is we just recently launched a feature, in fact, just launched today, that you're actually able to go through and be able to set up a Remine Live and be able to go through and actually invite your customer to actually host that. So this is really good where you have situations where, for example, you're not able to go into the property, and you can actually go in and say, okay, well, I want to be able to do a Remine Live and be able to have my customer host that Remine Live. And what's really neat about that is you're able to go through and set that right inside the system. Very simple, very easy. And we're going to go through a live demo of this today. So you're going to be able to see all this and how this works right in front of you. As your customers can also watch the property, they can watch it on web, they can watch it on mobile, they can see all of these things. They're very simple, very easy to do. In addition here, you also have on the mobile app for your customers, they can also watch the Remine Live as well. Now, we're going to show you today how you're going to get it. You can get a link and you can post it on Facebook Live. And we're going to talk about, for example, a couple of different ways you can get the promotion out there as well too, with regards to getting the news out about Remine Live. But a quick, neat little story. Nicole Clark, she recently did a Remine live stream, and she had great success with it. She went through and she created the Remine Live and was able to go through and set it up so that she could go through, and she had that link and she had the capability to go through and advertise that. And she had several people show up on her Remine Live webinar, and she did a great job of hosting that webinar as well. So if you notice here in the chat, I'm actually going to send it out to everybody. Here is a link to Nicole's video of where she did her actual Remine Live, and you can see how she toured the property, what she narrated, what she did, and how she was able to kind of go through and actually try it out and say, oh, okay, this is how Remine Live works, broadcast, and be able to see all of that. So this is a really good one. I encourage you to watch it, because here is a fellow agent who did that and had a great success with the product and using it. So, I think PowerPoints are great, but at the same time, live demos are even better. So we're going to go over here to our Remine system. And when you first log in, you're here on your daily dashboard. One of the things to note is you'll see My Listings over here. And you can click on any one of your active listings and you'll see this button. And it will say Create Live Open House. So now what I can do is I can select this toggle here to do a Remine Live, which gives me the full live streaming capability. I can go through my calendar, I can set the date, or of course, if you want to do something in May, and you can schedule this pretty far out if you want. So let's just say Saturday, May 2nd. I want to start at 3 p.m. and I want the session to last for 30 minutes. And again, you can change the time, you can go back, you can edit it later as well too. And another thing you can do is here, you can go in and say, well, I want my customer to host this. And this is something where, you have, being able to go through and say, testing it. So we're going to have John Spinetto be the host. And then that way they'll be the ones that will actually broadcast on the property. So I'm going to hit create. So not only does this now create the Remine Live, right? And of course, if you want to edit it and you want to say, you know what, Jonathan shouldn't be the one hosting it anymore, you can change that at any time by doing a quick edit. But what's nice is, this allows you to then have an email that goes out and says, all right, well, if you look over here, this is where your customer, so this would be your name. And now it says, hi, John Spinetto, your agent, Jonathan Maris, would like you to host an open house via Remine Live for your listing, 137 Chambers Road on Saturday, May 2nd from 3 to 3:30. So it instructs you how to download the app and also shows you how to follow the instructions to do the broadcasting as well too. So again, we're bringing that dynamic nature and capabilities here to you as an agent. Now, you may not want to use that, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to, but it does give you the optionality. Notice how you can go over here and edit, and if you want to be able to remove John as being able to be the open house hostee, you can do that. And then at the same time, you can also go through and say at this here you have your open house link, and here's your share link. So now you can copy your share link here, right? Notice how I copied it. And now I can put this link here on social media. I could put this link on Facebook. I could do any number that I want to do with those links and be able to send this out to my customer base to get them to come to the open house. Another neat trick is that on your MLS's ad edit system, like, so for example, if you use, say, Matrix, or if you use Bridge, things like that, you can put that open house URL into the virtual open house, information, and be able to send that out and have that broadcasted on sites that pick up the listing syndication, right? So again, you can advertise that live streaming capability. And again, use that share link here and that capability there, again, right inside your system as you create the open house. Now, one thing to note, when you go through and you want to, create the actual open house, this is what we just did here. But when you want to broadcast, what you need to be able to do is you need to go to your system and you need to actually go and make sure you have the latest Remine app. I can't stress that enough. You need to make sure that you have the latest Remine app. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to connect my phone so you guys can see what it looks like on the agent side to go through and actually create the Remine Live and to begin the broadcasting, right? So here I have my phone connected. Let me bring up my Remine app. And now I can see here that I have my Remine Lives, and I can also see other Remine Lives that are going on inside the market as well too. So again, I can see both market Remine Lives that are going on, and I can see mine that I have scheduled. If I also want to go through and I want to look at, say, for example, just on a map, and I want to see what Remine Lives are going on, I can click that filter, and now I can see Remine Live here on the particular map, right? So again, it gives you a quick way on the map, download it, click a button, and now you can see what live broadcasts are going on. So when I'm ready to do my Remine Live, all I need to do is hit this button here, and you'll notice that, hello everybody, now you actually have, your broadcast, and you have the capability to go through and actually change the camera direction here, even turn on the flashlight, and you can start Remine Live. And you'll notice that it's broadcasting right now, and you're talking, you can talk, and you can walk through the property and narrate. And then when you're done, you can hit stop as well. And it's all built in right there into your app. So it's very simple, and it's very easy for you to go through and to get that started. Now, what we've done is we've looked and said, this is how an agent sets up a Remine Live, and this is how an agent starts a broadcast, right? Now, let's go ahead and let's switch a little bit. And let's actually go through and show you what does it look like as a consumer who is going through and looking at the property. So give me 1 second while I switch over to my other app here, and we'll get going on that. So that way I can show you what that consumer side of the system looks like, which this is also something that's helpful so that you can get an idea of what is your customer going to see, or potential customer who is going to be hosting the Remine Live, how they can go through and they can actually you can see what that experience looks like. So again, it gives you a nice way to be able to see that information. So I'm going to reconnect my mobile screen here. Okay, so now I am in my mobile side of my screen, and right when I go in, I can see Remine Live and I can see open houses. So I can see all of the open houses that are currently, Remine Live open houses that are currently going on. Notice there's the one that we created here for Saturday at 3 p.m. So if I click on this one here, again, I can see the property, and more importantly, I can scroll down and I can see next open house here, and I can click watch. If I hit play, now I'll be able to see, once they start broadcasting, I'll be able to go through and see what that Remine Live looks like. So let me just reload that there. And again, you can see here that it hasn't started just yet. So there's that picture that's holding it. But once they're broadcasting live, you would see this in full motion here inside that particular property, right? As they're broadcasting along. And so again, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Now we can also go through and go and view this on the desktop. So let me go back through onto the desktop site. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up that property here on the desktop. So you could see, for example, so for those agents who are not able to log in, or excuse me, for your customers who aren't able to log in to a specific, say mobile app, then they could go through and they can actually go through and search on, or see, excuse me, on their particular desktop site, how that property looks. So give me 1 second while I pull up this particular house, and we can go and take a look and see what that looks like here with the broadcasted Remine Live. So 1 second here while I go ahead and get my screen shared. And now we can go ahead and see the broadcasting. So here now, I am on this property on Hawthorne Road, and now I can see the Remine Live that's going on. And so we can see broadcast here. I made it a full screen, and we can see the tour of the property. And if we had our audio up, we'd be able to see the narration as well too. And you can see what that looks like there. So again, you can view it full screen, you can view it small screen, number of different ways that you can look at it, but it's very simple, it's very easy to do, and very easy to access. And again, whether you're going on to the map, so for example, if I just typed in this property address here and pull this up, here it is, St. Louis, and I can go through, and here it is, Remine Live right here. I can click on this. And again, I can scroll through and I can see here is the next open house and watch open house. And this is where, again, I see that Remine Live being broadcasted. So again, your customer can view it both on the mobile app, but if they don't want to download the mobile app, they'll be able to use that link. Remember that link that I mentioned early on when we were here, this share link? This share link gets you to this page so that then they can watch open house. And again, it's a very handy, very easy way to get this information out there. So let's go back to our PowerPoint as we covered a few things, and let's talk about some ways to distribute. So again, a couple ways you can distribute this. Put this into your virtual tour fields, right? Or edit third-party portal that you have access to, or your broker website, and be able to put that in. Share it on social, URL on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, create an event. Use that URL in the event, post it on a blog. You can also, just as a quick reminder, make sure you're downloading and you're updating the Remine mobile app. Because if you don't have the latest version of the app, you won't be able to see all of these amazing features that you have access to as part of Remine Pro. A couple other things. We've had some great questions and we've had some great feedback. And some of that has to do with when are we going to be able to offer up, say, recordings? So we're happy to announce that next month you will have the full capability to go through and actually record a session and then attach that onto your property. So for example, if you want to do a live walkthrough of a house and then leave it as a recording on the property, you'll be able to do that. Also, you're going to be able to chat with your viewers as well too. So if a customer says, you know what, can you show me that kitchen again? They can relay that information to you so that you can see that, that what they're talking about. Maybe they want you to go take a peek underneath the basement again as well too in a crawl space. And then also remember, you have a public profile page as part of your Remine application. So we're going to be adding it onto there as well. So definitely, any questions that, and that you might have, definitely feel free to ask them if I haven't covered them already. This is an easy feature, not a lot of detail to it. It's very simple, very easy to get started, to create that Remine Live, broadcast the URL, and broadcast your live streaming. Remember, download and update your application. And also, if you visit support.remine.com, we have a quick little cheat sheet on there for how you can get started. It's something that's very simple, very easy to do. And what's nice about that is that on that support site, there's a quick 1, 2, 3. It walks you through on how to get Remine Lives set up in your market, and so that you can just see the walkthrough one by one. And what I'll do is I just actually added it here into the chat as well, so that you guys can see the link to that support documentation and follow the steps through on your own. So again, thank you everybody for taking the time to join today. We covered topics on how to create a Remine Live, how to broadcast off a Remine Live. We also talked about how your customers can see Remine Live. And then further, we talked about where you can get more information. And we talked about success cases as well with Remine Live. So please take a look and be able to take a look at that information there. And we're happy to answer any further questions. Feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, everybody.